Hey, what's happening, everybody? Hope all is well, and welcome back to the ShabinLife. The day has finally come. We are getting ready to plant the orchard finally. So the Stark Brothers trees have been stored away for the last 6 weeks. We're really hoping that we kept them nice and dark and cold and wet like we were supposed to. I'm not gonna lie, I certainly wish that when Stark Brothers asked which zone you were in, that maybe there was a little more prep for the last frost, because our last frost was literally a handful of days ago at the most. And yeah, we hope. And realistically, we got the trees like 6-7 weeks ago. It would have been nice almost to have them hold them until we got closer to our last frost date so that we didn't have to really maintain them. But that's okay, you know. We noticed yesterday that 1 or 2 of them were starting to flower, come out of dormancy, so we would have liked to have had them in the ground already, but I think we would have killed them if we tried. So like I said, today is sort of the day we feel good that we're gonna not necessarily have any more super low temperatures. But this morning when we got up, you know, you're all amped up to actually plant the trees. And yes, we know that there's a lot of legwork that goes into everything prepping. And obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes into just planting each individual tree in regards to, you know, stakes and guards and cages and all that kind of stuff. So as much as we have that material ready, it's not super prepped, you know, to just wrap right around the tree. So we're going to sort of take one step at a time. But when we looked out the window this morning, we kind of noticed that there's a little bit more legwork that we knew had to get done. We just have been focused on all the other stuff in the house. But we know we got to kind of take care of this big tree trunk that's been laying. We've got 2 other trees that need to get taken down. One guy in the back and this guy over here. We've got a couple bushes on the other side that we left up this whole time, but we knew we were coming down, so we're gonna have to zip them down this morning. I think we're gonna try and brush cut where the orchard's gonna go so that we can kind of see what we're doing. And then once we get there, I guess we'll bring you guys back and we'll try and do like a little step-by-step, or at least we'll show you what we're gonna do while we put them in the ground. But I guess until then, we'll leave the camera set up and you can watch us clean up a little bit before we get ready to rock and roll. So enjoy. Okay, so the phones ran out of juice, both of them. So I don't know how much or where we stopped at, but you saw we started this morning. We had to kind of get some things wrapped up around here before we got to the next step, which was planting. So we were able to get the 2 or 3 trees taken down. We got them all zipped up, cleaned up, and thrown on our brush pile over there. We were able to get the big tree trunk that was, God, that thing's got to be 30 inches. It's been sitting there for a year. So we got that all zipped up, moved over into the driveway next to the splitter so that we can split that wood up. Got the bushes taken out. I don't know if I ever did a video before or mentioned in a video about all the black vapor barrier that was on the ground. I'll walk you over real quick when we're done to show you, but that was really meant to kill off the grass basically around the center of what will be the fruit tree. It was really just to make it easier for me, less stuff that I had to dig up and kill off or weed whack down, and it did work. Some of the ones that got blown up by the wind over the winter time and then snowed on, you know, they were crumbled, so they didn't kill off as much. But the ones that were in the back, you might even be able to see in the video that the brown spots are all where that vapor barrier was sit. So we're happy that
the downside
was, it killed off the grass really well, but
made a really nice habitat for the snakes.
Yeah, lots of them.
So every time I pulled one back, it was like lost my breath.
I'll see if I have one that I can zoom in and show Dana jumping. I mean, it even catches me off guard. When they're this big, it's no big deal, but when it's this big, you know, nah. So there was probably about maybe 10.
Snakes?
Yeah.
Yeah. About
10, maybe 12 snakes. I think there was mostly just,
garden
you know,
snakes.
Yeah, the grass snakes, some milkweed snakes.
Yeah.
There was one that had to go. Sorry, buddy, but when you're biting at me that bad, we're not gonna hang out and be friends. Yeah. But we got it all cleaned up. Like I said, we ran out of juice. We did start up the brush mower. This was like the first time we really ran the brush mower this year, which is running great, thank God. And we brush cut basically just the orchard. That way we could kind of get it really prepped and ready to rock and roll for when we start
digging holes.
Yeah, which kind of leaves us with, we're going to call it a day. I think we have a big storm coming. We just want to make sure everything's battened down just in case there's some heavy winds, especially the easy up that's up there that we're working under right now. But we're just going to call it a day, I think, get cleaned up, some showers, and then I think spend the rest of the day just catching up on some TV and some movies.
It's crazy. It's like we literally went from winter to summer, and you kind of have to, Dave's right, we got to start early in the morning and sort of be wrapped up by noon before it gets too hot out here.
Which is cool. I mean, it gives us the whole day. And I mean, we're just doing other stuff like, you know, editing and dumping videos and clearing stuff and all that kind of uploading. But yeah, I think we're all good. And we still have a lot of prep work, I think, for the actual trees themselves. For the most part, we're ready. We know exactly what we're doing. But when everything's spread out all around the property, it obviously takes a little longer to collect. But the Stark Brothers trees are up in the house. We're going to bring them down in the morning, and we'll probably soak them for about 4, 5, 6 hours before we actually get planting. I don't know if we're going to do one tree at a time. That way, if we don't get too far, you know, we don't have everything dug up, it rains and fills it all back in. We'll kind of play that one by ear. But yeah, I think we're going to be done for today. I don't know if this will be the end of the video. This will be the middle, beginning, whatever, as usual. But we'll bring you guys back when we get started, putting everything in the ground tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully we have a couple nice days in a row. It would be nice that today is a Monday. We were planning on starting planting tomorrow because the weather looked like it was going to be pretty good Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday here.
Thursday's going to be hot.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll take hot over pouring rain, at least while we're getting everything in the ground. But we've got to get some hardwood stakes together, you know, all that good stuff. Cut the cages that are going to go around. We don't want to cut them just yet until we know exactly what size we want to put around the trees. We are going to take a ride to the nearest town so that we can pick up some tree guards and, you know, a few other odds and ends that we don't have here. But for the most part, we're pretty stoked. I mean, it's kind of neat for us. I mean, we always thought at this point, you know, hey, this is all cleared from the beginning. If you haven't seen that, you can go way back a couple years ago when we started brush cutting this. But it was weird today when we took down these 2 or 3 trees and bushes because they've been here since the beginning. It was the ones that we chose to leave right away because we knew we weren't doing the orchard. But now that we took them down, it is definitely kind of weird to come in from the driveway, turn left and look, because it looks way more open than it did before.
We took the most amazing bird's nest out of one of the bushes that we took down and tried to relocate it not too far from where it was, but man, that is some amazing workmanship. I don't know how those birds do it.
They do it so fast too. I mean, they're making them in the tires, on top of the tires of Godzilla up there. And yesterday there was literally one string. And today when I walked up to get the chainsaw stuff, there's an entire nest up there, mudded up. It's crazy, man. Those things are awesome. The good thing is that we only moved that one nest about maybe 20 feet, and the bird flew right into the tree and kind of knew where we moved it. So should be good to go. But like I said, we're all wrapped up. We will be back, I guess, tomorrow, hopefully planting. So stick around and we'll rock and roll. Hey, good morning and welcome to day 2 of planting the fruit orchard. So Dana and I got up pretty early this morning. The weather looks like it's going to be pretty good to start putting the trees in the ground. So we hopped up to the house this morning where the Stark Brothers fruit trees have been for the last 6 weeks. Fingers crossed that all is good. We grabbed the boxes from inside the house, brought them down this morning. I was doing a little video this morning, opening them all up and blah, 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 but really it's just taking bare root trees out of a box and sticking them in a bucket of water. But they're now in there soaking. They'll be in there for the next 4 hours, 5 hours while we continue to kind of get some things in order. We're gonna plant 15 total fruit trees. Dana and I sat a little while back and we kind of plotted and schemed where everything was gonna go and all that good stuff. Just to give you guys an idea of what's going in the ground, there are 15 total trees. There's 6 apple trees, 2 cherry trees, 2 pear trees, 2 plum trees, 1 self-pollinating nectarine, and 2 peach trees. And then it centers around the real pretty Annie apple tree, that's a crab apple tree that was on the property already. And we're slowly cutting that back each year to kind of bring it down to a more manageable size and maybe to fit in a little bit better with the orchard itself. But like I said, we're gonna let these sit for a little while and we're gonna gather the rest of the materials that we need. And then I guess we'll come back and we'll just walk you guys through each one. And I don't really think we're gonna do a super duper how-to, or maybe we'll do it on at least one tree, how we're gonna try and do it. But as usual, we're gonna kind of dig and design. So, we have an idea of, how we wanna stake the trees, wrap the trees, protect the trees, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll just see how it works out as we do them. And if we have to make some changes, we'll make some changes. But stick around, and I guess the next time you see us, we'll be digging in the dirt. All right, you want to just remeasure with me a little bit? Sure. Okay, so Dana and I just wanted to real quick remeasure the orchard, which I'm glad we did because some of the sticks got, kind of shuffled around a little bit, and they were off by a foot or two. But everything looks nice and straight now, even from corner to corner. Basically, there's 20 feet in between each tree, and if you were to use like Pythagorean's theorem, is that right? It would be 60 by 60, and then your C length would be 85 feet, and we hit that pretty much perfect. So we feel pretty good about where they're going to go. I don't think I'm being that OCD. What do you think? But now that we have everything laid out, like I said, we're just going to gather the rest of the materials we need, and I think we're going to start with just one tree to see how it goes, and then we'll kind of plot and scheme how we're going to do the balance of the trees. So we'll set you up where you can see the best, or we'll bring you around at the end. This is what it's like building here. All right, guys, so this is going to be the first tree that we put into the ground. It's going to be one of the cherry trees, either the Kristen or the Bing tree, the Bing cherry. But we're going to keep an eye on the holes that we're digging. Obviously, these roots aren't necessarily super wide on some of these trees, so it might be better that I don't go too big. 2 feet is pretty big for something that only has a root ball this big. So yeah, this is the first tree for us, so this is pretty exciting. But basically, we're going to follow all the directions and all the craziness for planting fruit trees that you've watched online. We're going to use the stick to go across what would be essentially, well, first of all, we made sure to put all the dirt onto the tarp. That way we don't lose any of this
Native soil.
the native soil, and we can hopefully backfill it with just the soil from here. We live on a quarry pretty much, so every time you stick a shovel in the ground, you got rock. So there's going to be a lot of displacement from that rock. So hopefully we have enough dirt to go back in, blah, blah, blah. Dana's going to basically hold the piece of wood across the hole opening. That way when we position the cherry tree and the rest of the fruit trees, we keep that graft portion about 2 inches or so out of the, above grade. That way when we go to backfill and everything, that graft stays nice and above the dirt line. But we're going to put the first tree in, and you can sit there on your couch and watch us. So basically what we're going to want to do is you're going to want to basically hold it right about there.
You want to line it up with it straight?
We'll straighten it out as we kind of go back. As I put this in, I'm going to go back and tamp it all down as we do it. So you just make sure that So Dana and I are just going to go around, pack down the dirt. Basically, first layer, pack it down. Second layer, pack it down, just to try and get all that air out. And the trees have been soaking this morning for about 4 or 5 hours, so they're definitely watered down. We'll give them a lot of water today when we're all done planting. All right, 1 tree in the ground, 15 more to go. All right, so we're gonna keep this going, one tree at a time, as long as we can go today. I don't know how much we'll actually get videotape. I'm gonna leave it up until the camera dies, and maybe you'll get to watch us plant all of them, but we're gonna work our way down in rows, and then work our way over, and we'll just see how much we get done, so stick around. Clean up, take showers, and call it. Okay.
I can't ever use that.
Yes, we can.
No.
All right, guys, we had a really, really good day. It was sunny, cloudy, windy, but the rain held off for us. We were able to get 10 of the 15 fruit trees that we're getting in. All right, guys. So we had a really good day. The weather kind of worked with us today. And it looks like tomorrow is going to be just as nice. We were able to get 10 of the 15 trees in. So we are really stoked. Putting the trees in, planting the actual tree was no big deal. Obviously digging the hole, when you have a, grass that grows right on top of concrete, that was obviously a little bit of a bear. So,
we'll be having a massive rock sale this weekend if
Yeah.
anybody needs some rock.
No shortage of stones, that's for sure, but 10 out of 15 is definitely not bad for us today. We're very excited. We're going to wait to stake and cage them because they're standing really strong, and even with the little bit of wind that we had today, these little bad boys aren't moving. So hopefully we can finish up the 5 that we have to plant for tomorrow, and then we can basically, do all the guards and stakes and stuff when we're all finished up. But we are really excited at how far we got today.
Was not expecting to put 10 trees in.
Yeah, we were going to stop at 7, and then we just pushed on for 3 more. We videotaped a little bit. I don't know if it'll wind up being a time lapse like it normally is, but maybe on the very last tree, we'll bring you guys along and just show you what we did to plant each one. You know, I don't want to, it's not rocket science, but there's, you know, a couple things you want to kind of pay attention to if I hadn't mentioned it earlier in the video. So maybe on the last tree tomorrow, we'll bring you guys over at the actual planting hole, and we'll walk you through what we did on the other 14 trees. But all in all, really good day. I think we're going to cook up some water and take some bucket showers, and then we are going to relax, because tomorrow morning I think I get to climb the tower with my internet provider. So if I'm allowed to videotape that, I will definitely make sure to do a video. But I am stoked. I really like our internet provider. I really like the service technician, and it looks like I'm going to be out helping them tomorrow morning. So once we get done that and I'm back, we'll be back on the other 5 trees that need to go in, so we'll bring you guys back then. Until then, have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. I don't know, guys. I think we finished at the right time. The storm is a-coming.